to the right, 202. The noes to the left, 432.
The ayes to the right, 202. The noes, The ayes to the right, 202. The noes to the left, 432. So the noes have it, the noes have it. Unlock!
This week, Britain's inept Prime Minister Theresa May, who has stubbornly refused to do the right thing by resigning, has further lost what little power she had left by means of 2 House of Commons votes. First on her EU exit deal, on which Parliament delivered a humiliating defeat on Tuesday, losing by 230 votes, that's 432 to 202, the largest defeat of a government in parliamentary history, which was then followed with Wednesday's vote of confidence in a government that only just managed to survive with the aid of 10 DUP MPs, resulting in 325 to 306.
The ayes to the right, 306. The noes to the left, 325.
It should not come as much surprise that Parliament rejected May's deal, which was nothing other than complete garbage, one that gives the EU £39 billion for nothing in return. And then there is the backstop, or more accurately the backstab, a means by which to ensure that the UK can never leave the EU without the EU's permission. Firstly, here's a video that charts of how we got here from the triggering of Article 50 to the present crisis state, a trend trajectory that has put Britain literally on the path towards civil war as Parliament subverts Brexit. The campaign for the so-called People's Vote was launched by Remainer MPs and celebrities in April 2018, which include arch Ramonas such as Chuka Umunna, Anna Soubry, Leila Moran and Caroline Lucas, and a string of EU bureaucrats, with many MPs jumping on board the second EU referendum bandwagon in recent months, such as the shadow Brexit Secretary Keir Starmer. So far, not a single Leave voting MP has joined the People's Vote campaign, which thus is clearly a Ramona campaign aimed at preventing Brexit from ever actually happening. Parliament's rejection of Theresa May's worthless bill has very little to do with wanting to honour the results of the 2016 EU referendum. Instead, the 75% Remain Parliament sees Theresa May's deal as a hard Brexit, and thus wants to ensure a far softer Brexit, in fact a Brexit in all but name, by bolting on the likes of a customs union and free movement of people, towards which there is really only one mechanism that would bring this about, and that is the so-called People's Vote, despite the fact that the 2016 EU referendum was the real people's vote against Britain's ruling establishment. The bottom line is that a 75% Remain Parliament has done everything it can to prevent Brexit from ever happening, and thus an engineered second EU referendum is the most probable outcome of the current paralysis by design, as a means for Britain's Remain establishment to ensure that Remain would win a second EU referendum through a multitude of measures and tactics, such as, by the way, as the second referendum question would be worded, as illustrated by the Financial Times recent video titled Brexit, How to Hold a Second Referendum, which more accurately should be titled How to Fix a Second EU Referendum so that Remain wins. And so, as I've often voiced over recent weeks, that the Remain establishment's objective is to kick the Brexit date can down the road until a second EU referendum is held that will be fixed to ensure that Remain wins, which will require Article 50 to be extended so that the Brexit date is extended by between 6 and 12 months, that the EU in recent weeks has signalled its willingness to do so. Whilst my consistent view since Article 50 was first triggered in March 2017 is that Britain is on a trend trajectory to leave the EU without an exit deal that Parliament is clearly seeking to prevent. The Remain establishment effectively destroying democracy by deliberately seeking to subvert Brexit has put Britain into a pre-Civil War state, where a fixed second EU referendum would ignite the march of many millions of angry Leave voters into the arms of right and left wing extremists, the likes of Rump UKIP and far worse, who would promise those who voted Leave the message of Britain being instantly able to leave the EU, which perhaps would at least trigger a split in the Tory party and also likely the Labour Party. Thus today's Remainers in Parliament are effectively sowing the seeds for the destruction of Parliament's authority, where as many as 15 million people would no longer recognise Parliament's authority after the subversion of their 2016 vote to leave the EU, where instead a blatantly fixed second EU referendum is being engineered that would open Pandora's box. And do ensure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel for new videos in the Brexit series. And for first access to all of my analysis and trend forecasts, then do consider becoming a patron by supporting my work for just $3 per month.